Welcome to Theater Crafts, where we take theater memorabilia and we change them into brand new treasures. Okay, do you have a ton of show shirts? I know I do. And if you remember, a while ago I showed you how to make show shirts into pillows. Well, today we're going to take show shirts that maybe you outgrew or you have too many of them or whatever, and we're going to make them into bags. So they can be rehearsal bags. So this is a show shirt. I've got lots of things inside it, and you can take this and it could be a bag that you use at the market. It could be a rehearsal bag. It could be a bag that you use for taking laundry. There's so many uses for it. And the thing is, it carries a lot of stuff. And so you can personalize it any way that you like. That's what's so cool. So on this one, I added some trim here on the edges, but you don't have to. And the one that we're going to do, I'm not going to do that. You could add a little piece of shirt that you cut off to make a tie. We're going to, at the bottom, we're doing some pleats at the bottom here so that you can box off the bottom and give it more space on the inside. So I'm going to show you how to do this. It's really easy and a great way to reuse shirts that you may have in your stash. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so here I am at the workbench, and I have here a Frozen t-shirt, an extra shirt from a production. And I'm going to show you how I cut the shirt up so you can make it into the bag. So first, you can cut them at the same time. I actually admit I'm always worried that I'm going to cut it kind of wonky on the second arm. So what we're going to do here is we're going to cut the sleeves off first. And so I'm kind of lining it up so that we have the seam, you see the seam for the sleeve there, on top of each other. And I'm just going to take a pair of extra sharp scissors here, and I'm going to cut on the inside of that seam line. So cutting off, you'll see here, on the inside of the seam line. And the beauty with this t-shirt material is it doesn't really fray. It's not like if you have like a cotton fabric that's going to fray. This is actually going to give you a little bit more freedom to leave the seams kind of open. Now, so I didn't cut that off. I'm going to cut this off here just to make sure it's kind of even on both sides. And it's pretty forgiving. That's what's so cool. And these bags are very roomy. So basically, you see I cut that off. That gives you quite a bit of room. Now that's actually where you're going to put, over your arm when you're holding this as a bag. So let me flip this around. I'm going to do the other armhole here. And again, I've kind of lined it up so that it's quite even on the front and back, so those seams are even. And when I took it out, you kind of maybe want to press it so that it's pretty flat. This one's pretty decent. So again, I'm going to cut at the bottom. I'm just going to cut right inside that line there. That's the seam line. Okay. I'm going right down to the underarm hole right there. Here we go. All right, and there's the other where the arm goes. Now the next part you need to cut is where the neckline is. So this one I am going to fold so that it's equal on both sides. Every time I film, my cat talks to it. I think she wants to be in the videos. So I'm going to line this up, and you see we've got the neckline here. Now you want to cut, so this is going to be the opening. Now you can cut it either, you know, to make it a really big opening if you want to put lots of really bulky things in there. So if you're using it for, I don't know, maybe laundry day, like if you're using it as a laundry bag, that you might want a larger hole there, or you know, your rehearsal stuff, if you want to be able to easily access that, you maybe want a larger hole there. So I'm going to cut a smaller one here. The last one, the one I showed you in the example, was a larger hole. And I just want to make a comment too about, you want to hold on to the sleeves here if you want to use these as ties for the bag. I use them as ties for the other one that I showed you. I literally cut them, just cut little strips and then sewed those on as ties. So that's a possibility too. Or, you know, you could take it, cut a little pocket and make a pocket in it somewhere on your bag. That would be really cool too. Maybe on the other side of where you do the Frozen logo is here. All right, so I'm just going to cut. Now again, it's pretty forgiving. Now notice the front and the back of the shirt. The neckline is different. The front neckline is lower than the back. So you want to make sure that it is lined up according to the shoulder seams, not according to the neckline. Okay, so I'm going to cut it first here. I'm just going to kind of wing it, honestly, and we'll see if that looks kind of the way we want it. Cut it right through. It's going to get a little bit tricky through that double seam there. That looks like it might work for an opening. That's a fairly substantial opening. If you cut it too low, it might be a really an opening that's a little bit too large. So this one I'm going to I'm not going to add a trim on this one. I'll show you when we're at the sewing machine how to add the trim. On the example, I had a trim on that one, but this one I'm not going to. But next we're going to go to the sewing machine. I'm going to show you how to close up the bottom so that you can actually make it a bag. All right, I'll see you at the sewing machine. Okay, so here we are at the sewing machine, and I've got my shirt right here. So the very first thing you're going to do is turn this inside out, so that you can sew from the inside. And now typically what you will do, depending on how you want to finish it off, you could actually tie the bottoms, you know, cut little strips, like little strips here, and tie them together. That is certainly a viable option if you don't have a sewing machine or don't know how to sew. That would certainly work. I'm going to sew it because it is really a straight stitch, and so that you can, I guess, feel like it's stronger if you're going to sew it. You know, I suppose you could use hem tape if you wanted, just to iron on tape. That would work too, and you know, as an option. So what I'm doing here is I'm lining up the front and the back. So if you notice that we've got the seam, that's the inside there. Now you can pin it. I've got pins here. You can just pin it so that it stays together. I'm a big fan of pinning when you're sewing. I feel like it gives you a more professional look. Okay, and then you're going to put it right under your presser foot. Now, I'm going to use a straight stitch here. You can use a zigzag stitch. Actually, a zigzag stitch might be a better option because of the, I'm going to put that on and we'll try it. Because it's a stretch fabric. So I've got, I don't know if you can see, I've got a little zigzag stitch right there. So I'm going to use that as my stitch, and we'll see how that turns out. One thing you want to do when you start sewing is you want to sew a little bit, and then you're going to reverse. On my machine, it's the button right here is the reverse button. That's going to vary depending on the machine you have. So you're going to take a couple of stitches, all right, and then you're going to reverse it. All right, reverse. And that's just to lock in the stitch so that it won't come undone. All right, so now we're just going to literally just go right down the line. I'm going to take out your pins before you get to that so that your needle doesn't break. That's pretty problematic. Oh, and we're just going right down the line. Now I'm following the existing stitching on it, and I'm just kind of, I'm not pulling the shirt through, I'm just guiding it so that it doesn't get caught with the fabric there. You can also hand sew this too if that's something that is easier for you. Certainly. Now when you get to the end, you are going to want to back stitch again so that you again lock in those stitches, and then you just, there you go, and that's all sewn together. So now we're going to do something a little bit different on this. So you could leave it like that. It's going to give you kind of just a flat, a straight bottom there. I'm going to cut the corners here on each side, because you see where the stitching is. There's I'm going to cut right in here. Don't cut through the stitching. There's a reason I'm cutting that. My cat desperately wants to be in the video. I know, Willow. And so I'm going to box the bottom here. So what I mean by that is it's going to make it so that the bottom has like a more of a flat bottom, and it helps to give it a more roomy interior. So in order to do that, I'm going to take the, so this is the bottom stitch here, and I'm going to kind of open that up a little bit, which is why you can see, open that up a little bit like that, and open it so that it's like this. Okay, so you can open it up, and you can make like a triangle here, so that you're making a point, and this way we're actually going to sew across here. So it's a little hard because it's black on black here, but we're gonna sew directly across here. So you know, depending on what size you want, you can make that as big or as small as you want. You could pin it, certainly. You pin that like here, like that. Pin that right in that spot right there, and that will help to keep it while you're sewing. You could also measure down, you know, maybe like 4 inches or 3 inches. I'm actually going to use the guide on my sewing machine right here, and that's what I'm going to use to gauge how far to sew it. So literally just going to sew directly across that triangle. So I'm actually going to go back to a straight stitch here on my machine. It's up on here. I'm going to go to straight stitch, and I'm just going to stitch straight across, again back stitching at the front and at the end so that it doesn't come unraveled. All right. Back stitch. Oops, I don't know if you noticed that kind of folded over. Not a problem, just lift your presser foot, and then you're going to continue through. And when you get to the other side, again, back stitch. And then, so now I've got this corner sewn off. And when I open it up, you'll see what that does. So here, what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to cut off the excess here, because I've already sewn it. I don't need that corner any longer. It's now boxed in, so we got that boxed bottom there on that side. We have to do the other side as well. All right, so doing that again, I'm going to go to the other side of the bottom on this side, and you're going to open it up so that we've got the corner. And I'm opening up. You can actually press this out if you wanted to, the seam here. I don't feel it's necessary in this particular project, but you could do that if you wanted to. All right, and then you're going to make sure that you get it as even on both sides as possible. Again, you can use a pin to pin that together. And then again, I'm using the guide on my machine here and just sewing straight across. Don't forget to back tack the beginning and the end. And then again, I'm going to cut off the corner that I just sewed. And that will eliminate that bulk when you're turning it right side out. Okay, so that is done there. Now you can turn this, when I turn this right side out, you'll see what I'm talking about in terms of the corners. So see here how that corner, see how you end that corner right there? And you can see the corner on this side, okay? And that's going to make it so that you can, I don't know if you can see right there. See that? Okay, sorry about that. I got a phone call right in the middle of recording. All right, so you can see here where the corner is kind of boxed in there. So that's going to give you more space on the bottom. Now, let's talk about how to finish this off. You honestly could be done like this. I'm not kidding you. This could be done. You don't have to add trim. Like I said, this is not going to fray like you would have like with a cotton piece of fabric. So you could be done and, hold it like this, and you got your big bag that you can put your laundry in. You can put your rehearsal clothes in there, whatever. Now, there are ways that you can close off the top here. So I thought it might be kind of fun. I found this button that has some blue in it, kind of like on the word Frozen. I thought that was kind of cool. So I thought, what if I sew a button on the back part of the shirt, and then you don't even have to actually make a real buttonhole. You could just cut the hole in there, and then it could be button closed, so that way when you've got your rehearsal clothes, your dance shoes, your scripts, whatever in there, they're not going to come tumbling out when you toss it in the rehearsal space. All right, so let's see. I'm going to find the middle. So I just folded it to find the middle, and I found the middle in the back. I'm just going to put a pin there just to remind me where the middle is. All right, so right there. Now, I don't need the sewing machine anymore. So then you're going to take your button and then put it right in the middle. You're going to put it on the back because you're going to do the hole in the front. That way you button it through and you get to see the hole, see the button. So then I'm going to take a needle, over here. And then I'm going to take the black thread that I've got in the machine. I might as well. All right. I'm going to double it because you want it to be sturdy. So I'm going to, now I'm going to tell you, threading a needle is probably tricky for some people. I honestly, I lick the end of the thread, and then it kind of binds those fibers together, so it's easier to get through the needle. Then you're going to pull it, and I want to double it so that it's nice and sturdy. So at the bottom, this is going to be, I'm going to show you a sewing trick. So you see that's doubled right there. You can see that. Can you see that? Okay. So I'm going to lick my finger. All right, I've licked my finger, and then you wrap this around, so it's like that. Don't do it too tightly. And then you're going to roll the thread off your finger and then pull it down, and it makes a nice big knot. And see how that works? That's a great sewing tip to make a nice big knot on your needle. All right, so now I've got this particular button has 4 holes, so I'm just going to go from the back, and I'm going to get my pin out of there now. Go back and forth, and sew this right on, and give it a nice sturdy fastener. It'll take me a minute to just sew this on. I love being able to use materials like this, that, these are shirts that you may have that you've outgrown, or you have too many of them, or, you have some sentimental kind of attachment to it, and you don't want to get rid of it, but maybe can't wear it anymore for whatever reason. Now you get a chance to use these in a different way. So, how cool would it be if you're on, I don't know, on a tour, and you're using an old shirt for your laundry bag, or in college and your theater program using an old show shirt, and it kind of reminds you of home when you did shows, or bringing them to rehearsal, your rehearsal clothes, or dance shoes and script and such in your old shirt bag that you have made. I love being able to do that. Okay, so now to make it a little bit stronger, I'm going to put it through, only through the shirt here. It's behind the button, okay? And I'm actually going to wrap it around just to get a little bit of stability there. The other thing you could do too, this probably would have been a good idea, is putting another button in the back here just to make it a little bit more sturdy. That's certainly another option. You could also Velcro. That's another way of doing it too. And in the example, I actually made ties. So now I'm going to partially pull the thread through, and then I'm going to put it through the needle through the thread, and this creates a knot. I actually do that 3 times typically, just to make sure it's nice and secure. So again, I'm pulling it through the thread, making a nice knot, pulling it through the thread and making a knot, and then you should be good to go. So now, so your button is on. So now, just finding where it corresponds to in the front. So you see the button there. Okay. My kitty is right next to me. She's sneezing. So I'm going to find the front. You really want to make sure you line up those shoulder seams. Find your front, and I'm going to put, actually, you know what I could do? I've got tailor's chalk here. You could actually make a full-on buttonhole. That would work, and that would certainly be great. I'm going to take some tailor's chalk. So tailor's chalk is used to mark on fabric, because it comes right out. So I'm actually going to, if you can see that. Okay, back it up just a smidge so you can see. All right, so I'm going to mark on here where I would like the buttonhole to go. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm literally going to cut it, and like I said, you could make a big buttonhole in here, and that would be great. That would work beautifully. You don't have to on this though, and start off small. Don't make it quite as large as you think, because you can always make it bigger. I always try to make it smaller, and then, yep, actually that works out beautifully. Look at that. So I cut, pull it out so you can see it again. So I cut a hole. You can see it like, actually, that's better. You can see it like that. And then literally just button right there. And you've made a little closure. And then you just basically, this is how you will carry it, is through where the armholes are. And you've got frozen right there. Another thing you could do, and I mentioned this a little while ago, is you can make a pocket for the back. So if you take your sleeves, so here's one of the sleeves, you could actually take the sleeve and make a little pocket, because you've got this really cool the finished edge, and then that would make an adorable pocket right there. Just sew it right onto the back of your your shirt here, and you could have a pocket on the outside to put your cell phone in, or something like that. That would certainly work. In fact, I might do that. I'm going to do that just for fun. All right, so I'm going to cut this down just a smidge, just so that we have. Now I've literally kept the pocket as is. I mean the sleeve as is. In fact, I want to make sure that that's even on the bottom there. So I'm going to cut this so that it's even, because the sleeve is actually different lengths, the sides of the sleeve. So I want to make sure those are even. Okay. How cute is that? So that could be a little pocket. And now I'm going to find the back, the center of the back. Same process that I did before. All right, and I'm just going to put a pin right in the center. Now the tricky part of this one is I've already unbutton it. You could add embellishments. You could add fabric paint on this and really kind of glitz it up. That would be really fun. So I found the center. You can see that with the pin. And then literally you can just take this and pin it down. Now you want to make sure you don't get the front. Okay. I'm just going to pull the front of it down just a bit so I can pin this just on the back section. Now I'm going to pin this down on all sides, and then I'm just going to go around with the machine on the 3 sides, not on the top obviously, because that would be problematic putting things in the pocket from the top, but on the 2 sides and the bottom certainly. And just going to pin this down so that it's nice and secure. Not making sure not to catch the front. Okay, because you don't want to catch the front of the shirt. Oops. All right. So see, I don't know if you see. Oops. Actually, so that. All right. So if you can see that where I've pinned it down. All right, and I've checked. I'm not caught in the front. Okay, so now I'm just going to sew right around. So again, you want to make sure that you're not catching the front. So I'm going to feel underneath just to make sure. And I'm just going to use, again, a straight stitch and go straight around for creating this pocket. And don't forget to back tack with your machine. Now, when I get to the corner, I cut it so that it has like a little corner there. I stop it. I leave this needle inside, and then I'm going to turn it so that your corner is crisp in the sewing. So then I'm going to come down this way. And again, I've got a little bit of a point there, so I'm going to do the same thing where I'm just going to twist it a little bit. So you just lift up your presser foot and then twist it. That way your needle stays right in there. All right, I'm going to do this. Always checking to make sure I don't have the front caught. All right, same thing with this corner. Stopping it, lift the presser foot and turn it. And then drop the presser foot again. Alright, when you get to the end, again, back tack, and then open it up. Okay. Oh my gosh, how cute is that? Alright, let me take the pins out so you can see. How great is that? We add a little pocket. You can see that little pocket to the back there. And again, that's made right out of the sleeve. You could even put your initials on that. You could do that with fabric paint. That would be really cute. All right, so we've got, I'm going to button that up again. Okay, we got this. And then we've got the pocket in the back. There you go. That is adorable. So you've got a bag that you can use for your books, for your scripts, for your rehearsal bag, laundry, market, going to the market, anything that you might need a bag that can hold a lot of items. So I hope you can try this. This is a really good one. And, there are lots of things that you can do with old show shirts. I did a pillow once. I've got a whole bunch of other ideas for show shirts too. So I hope that you do this. And if you do, let me know how it goes. So thank you so much for joining me for this version of Theater Crafts. And I will see you next week. Take care. Have a great week, guys. Bye.